The world that you live in, the world that I live in, it's nothing.
Hi dear. I take great pleasure in introducing Herr Manfred von Keidecker.
I love you, Heidi.
Didn't you see von Keidecker with his money and his security?
Good evening.
That is who I have to marry.
I dare say I will take her.
What will you accept as a dowry?
She does seem a little wild.
That can soon be tamed.
But why won't you match me with a man of my choice?
If and when von Keidecker proposes, you will agree to it.
It isn't fair to do this to you or to me. I hate you. I hate you!
It's about fear.
Accept what is destined for you.
But I've met you. I think I've loved you all my life.
The war affects everything.
Well, the project first began in July 1999. I was literally lying in bed one night, and suddenly I had this idea. Well, I say it was an idea, it was more of an image. It was an image of a group of soldiers in a railway wagon, and we're looking at them from a very high angle. And they're looking up in this mixture of fear and terror. And it was such a gripping image that I got out of bed, I sketched it, and I suddenly had some more ideas of other pictures that were sort of coming into my mind, and I sketched those too. So I went out and I bought a screenplay, and I sat down, and using the screenplay as a guide to format and layout, I sat down for 2 weeks and I wrote the script for Generation Lost. So I formed Independent Studios UK, and we looked into the possibilities of shooting the full film. Now, you've got to bear in mind, of course, we were starting from absolutely nothing. We were starting from scratch, and we put feelers out, we began to get costings, we started to make up a mock budget, and we realised this was going to cost far too much. So what we did instead was we hit upon the idea of making a pilot film. We would take certain scenes in the script, and we would link them with text, and we would explain the story up to a certain point. Then hopefully we would take this round to investors, see what they thought, and if they liked it, then if they wanted more, then they might be interested in putting up money for the full feature. Well, you've got to remember, obviously, that when we started off, we had nothing, no cast, no crew. The crew came about when I found someone called Ashley Bond, who runs a film workshop in Downham Market in Norfolk, and he said to me that I can supply you basically with a crew. So with the exception of my co-director, who is a personal friend of mine, nearly all the crew came from Dealing With It Films.
I think Generation Lost overall struck me as being a really good idea to get involved with, simply because it was a pilot for a feature film. I've only ever made short films, apart from one film which was a feature which wasn't really going to sort of do anything as far as I was concerned. It was a personal project. But because Generation Lost is designed to actually go on and, you know, produce a full film, that got me quite excited.
In total, the film took 10 days to shoot. We originally allowed 2 weeks to include battle scenes, but obviously those had to be dropped because of funding reasons. In terms of locations, again, because of budget constraints, we decided to shoot on locations very near to my house. The night before the raid scene, for example, is actually my stables at the back of my house, which we just dumped a load of rubble behind and dressed it up as a ruined farmstead. The barn and the stable, which we see the love scene and the scene between Alex and Tom, that is again in a farm that's literally sort of 3 minutes away from me, and the same with the Railway Museum, the Mid-Suffolk Light Railway, which is again 15 minutes down the road. So everything apart from the quarry scenes, everything was done on location in Suffolk. The dining room, for example, we were originally thinking about building a dining room with wild walls, but we realised this was just too much of a hassle, and I got in touch with some friends who live in Cotton in Suffolk, and they agreed to let us use their dining room, which is laid out almost as you see it in the film.
And hold it straight.
Okay, stand by. 3, 2, 1, rolling.
Rolling.
Scene 215, take 1.
Action! Ah, she arrives. Last. Come here, my girl. Good evening, my dear.
Cut! We need to see you glance quick, sort of there, and at the bar and so on. Okay, and we don't do your legs be seated, okay? We just see the glance.
Just the glance.
So
And
no
then-
lines.
No lines, no. This is a good shot.
It's also quite a relief.
Okay, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Rolling.
Rolling.
Scene 190, take 1.
Action!
Good evening.
We sent out letters to all the acting schools, and we had, over a couple of weekends in November 99, we did our casting. Claire came to the same casting session. She struck me as being right for the part because she had a softness in her voice which carried across very well in the dining room scene and in the stable scene, a sort of soft defiance. She is someone you can take to as a character very easily. She's very likeable, she's very natural, and that came across in the casting room.
You need to look more into his face.
Good evening.
Answered him before.
Then lower your eyes, yeah.
Okay.
Hi, dear. I take great pleasure in introducing Herr Manfred von Keidecker. Von Keidecker, may I introduce my stepdaughter, Heidi.
Good evening.
Shall we be seated?
Cut!
Yeah, lovely.
Superb. It's beautiful.
That was really nice.
Really, that look of disappointment
that
was just
was
there. It was great.
Is that it for now? That's it for this part of the scene.
Yeah, all we need to do is get one more shot from this end to this bit, and that's the last shot.
So keep going down, keep coming down. Working on set was interesting. It went from being quite fraught to being very comfortable. I think certainly the first day everybody was getting to know everybody else, and I think the first day overall we found probably more problems on the first day than any of the other days. Particularly the very first dolly shot, which we did. I think it was the very first shot of the day, because we were there for about 3 hours trying to get that one right. I think overall the biggest problem we had was with the camera's moving shots, the track and the dolly, etc. I think overall the equipment that we had was basic. It served its purpose, but to get good results, I think you really had to be patient with it. And I think at first we were, but as the production went on, particularly the last night when we worked right through the night, and that was at the end of the week as well, so the whole crew by that stage were getting probably more tired because we'd done a lot of long days. But it was a shame really that we had to finish on that scene because it was probably the most exciting scene with the pyrotechnics and everything.
Simply because what we don't want, obviously, is no dialogue at all. If we can have short bursts of machine gun fire,
I'm going to have to tune it, but I'm going to need you to.
Yeah, so here we are, this is set.
Alan?
Yes.
Can you drop the cartridge in here, please? Yes,
I've done a good job with this.
Right, who's
More
free?
stains, please.
It's just me.
Well, nobody actually employs me before it's a standard anymore, it's all freelance.
Oh, hold on.
So,
Somewhere here.
it's just kind of,
It's all right. That'll clip over.
Oh, that was thing that I'll not call woman.
Tom and I had a little tiff halfway through the last shoot, and totally did.